The Secrets of Stargate is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, episode 49.
Janet West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
All right, here we go. We are about to try to make a connection.
All we gotta do is bust out of here, commandeer the ship, and fly on home.
Indeed. You say that a lot.
I know that this could be dangerous. But this is our job, right? It's what we signed on to do.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
Hi, I'm Jack Barazzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where I talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate TV series, movies, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Stika. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. Hey, Victor.
Hi, Jack.
All right, today we are discussing the 7th episode of Season 3, Deadman Switch. Do you want to give us a rundown of this episode, Victor?
Sure. In this episode, SG-1 searches an alien world for a missing aerial drone, and they find it, apparently shot down by a Goa'uld weapon. Then they themselves are trapped in a force field. But it's not the Goa'uld, it's a bounty hunter who works for the Goa'uld, Eris Bach. He's a wisecracking ne'er-do-well with a heart of gold. You hate him, but then you kind of love him. You know the type. Bach needs SG-1's help to capture the Goa'uld Keltar. Bach hopes to trade Keltar to the System Lord Sokar as part of his buying his own freedom and that of his sons. But then we learn he just wants to trade him for more blue juice, which is what Bach is addicted to. Bach takes SG-1 to his ship, then back into the woods, then back to his ship, then back into the woods, and they trade quips with Jack all the way. Eventually, SG-1 finds Keltar and learns that Keltar is actually Cora, a member of the Tok'ra. Bach gets the jump on SG-1 for the 34th time, and Teal'c valiantly offers himself in trade for Cora. Bach has a change of heart and blows up his own ship, giving Teal'c and Cora their freedom. Then he says, "I'll be Bach," but he is never seen or heard from again.
No.
Nice. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
It's a very quippy episode.
It is, yeah. What are your thoughts on this episode, Father?
You know, this is one of these episodes I've always kind of enjoyed. I don't take too seriously, but I've always kind of enjoyed. You know, it's fun. It's ridiculous. Admittedly, there's part of it is because the actor of Eris Bach is Sam Jones, also known as Flash Gordon from the 1980. Yeah, exactly. And at this point, Jack will put that stinger in there. We talked about it before. No, that's the movie's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. So it was kind of fun to see him because he's one of those actors that he actually has been busy since the movie, but it's always been kind of behind the scenes, guest appearances and so on. To see him as a little bit more of a major character in the episode is kind of fun. And it's just, you know what, you take it as fun and silly and you move on from there. Mm-hmm. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, Lisa?
Okay, I know I'm going to be the dissenting opinion here, but I hate this episode. I really thought that maybe after watching it 20-something years later, I would be like, oh, no, I was wrong. No, I wasn't wrong. I don't know what it is. There's nothing obviously wrong with the episode. I think it's his character, Eris Bach. I find him annoying. I just want to turn him off. I want to mute him. I just want to be done. I'm like, dude, it just drives me crazy. Yeah, no, I did rewatch it. I didn't. Yeah.
Eris Bach is a lovable little scamp. He's like the Scrappy-Doo of Stargate.
Yeah.
I didn't like Scrappy-Doo either.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good comparison.
Scooby-Doo fan, not Scrappy.
Maybe speaking of Scooby-Doo, I was kind of thinking like if you were going to give this episode one of those Scooby-Doo, like when they had like the crossover episodes, this would be the SG-1 gang meets Duke Nukem, because that's essentially who he is.
Yeah. And Duke Nukem himself was kind of a ripoff of Bruce Campbell's Ash character from the Evil Dead movies. Right. So I think, I think Bruce Campbell would have done very well in this role as well. But I think that, definitely Sam J. Jones really steals the show in this. And again, he's mostly been in B movies. I kind of want to check out Decapitarium now, because which is one of his most recent movies, filmed just or released just last year, just to see how he's doing. But no, I got this episode confused in my mind with another like SG-1 or a Stargate team is captured by a bounty hunter and walked through the forests of Vancouver episode, which I think occurs in Atlantis a couple times, and is kind of just a joyless slog. And in this case, it is funny. I mean, Robert C. Cooper wrote this, and like, you know, the full, you know, quippage is on display in this episode, and that makes it bearable because the plot is pretty light, but there's some cool things in it, which we'll get into.
Yeah, I have to say I'm on your side, Lisa. I was not a fan of this episode. I think it's just when you have Jack O'Neill and this character, just the entire episode is kind of based on just them bouncing off each other and being snarky, and I feel like that can only carry you so far, and 45 minutes of it is a bit much, in my opinion.
It carried the Avengers movies like pretty far. I mean, that's pretty much all the Avengers movies were.
Well, I'm not a big fan of those movies either.
Yeah, I saw most of those too.
I don't know. I mean, it worked for me, but you know, I like snark and I like the fact of, you know, so how do you keep from getting killed? You know, because he wasn't that smart. So,
and there's some good Teal'c moments in this too.
Yeah,
like you're a real pain in the neck.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And they do have some really good little quips and stuff like that, but it wasn't enough for me to save it.
Yeah, I think it was just, if you just dialed it back a little bit, it would have been better. But also, if there'd been more going on with the plot, because this really is them just walking back and forth to the ship, being unusually inept for the SG-1 team, and not really putting up much of a fight, I feel like. But that's just so they can pad out the time to get to the end. I do like the new technology we see, though. Those little like Sentry blasters they have, and then the design of the ship is
the tax.
Cool. The tax,
yes,
which is not Technital.
No, it is not Technital. No.
And the armor that absorbs the,
I was waiting for Victor to have the full name.
Oh yeah. Did you say it right?
I slurred it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go back and fix it. Taku Nikatag and Minutron. Gosh, that's hard to say.
Say it 5 times fast.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you were saying, Lisa?
Oh, that the armor that absorbs the Zat gun. We kind of see a play on that. I don't know what season that is. 8?
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, we don't. That's new for us.
I did like when he shot himself with the Zat, and he's like, "Ooh, tickles."
Yeah.
And then as he's walking out, like Jack shoots him in the butt with the Zat, and he goes, "Ouch!" You know, like it's just those two.
Yeah. Well, I like that he couldn't figure out Zat gun until he goes, say Zach Nictatel and leave off the Nictatel. Oh, that makes more sense.
Does save some
That's
time.
easier. Now,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, of course, he has got to have the blue juice, the Roshna, which just happens to sound like Ketracel White from DS9. Huh.
And I love the way it's delivered, too. It's like those little pouches that, like, you know, like silicone grease or, you know, Loctite come in that you rip off the end and squirt it out. It's just like an endless supply of these little pouches with the little tear off end.
Traps that we buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like when he's putting it in his canteen. She asks what it. Sam asks what it is. He says flavoring.
Yeah. Flavor. That's what I tell my kids.
What's in that clear bottle?
Oh. It's Daddy's medicine.
Yeah.
It's got dark real fast.
Yeah.
Well, so like I think they missed an opportunity here because Eris Bach is a race that can't have a symbiote, right? Which is really an opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's just one big joke, and we never hear from it again.
That's
not really.
Primary. Oh, good.
We get shades of this in two different aspects in Atlantis. First of all, we get the you know virus that's generated to keep people from being fed upon by the Wraith, where if the Wraith feed upon them, they'll die, and then the Wraith in response to that just like you know basically starts wiping out human populations. because they're no longer useful to them. And then the other aspect is there's shades of Eris, Bach, and Ronan, the runner in Atlantis too, where, you know, the Wraith let him live to just basically be hunted. You know, he has weapons and stuff. And so there's a little bit of that too. He has a cool gun.
Yeah, I feel like it was the concept is really interesting, having this bounty hunter who's both, he cannot like serve the Goa'uld as a host, but he also is beholden to them because he's addicted to that substance. But yeah, it doesn't really go beyond that, and they don't really do much with it, and it's a cool concept, but I looked this up and like they don't do anything with it other than I guess he's in like one of the spin-off novels once, but you don't ever see him again.
Say, we'd like to study you and find out how to make people like unable to be taken as as hosts by the Goa'uld. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then they just completely drop that. Yeah. But Stargate does come back to like the miracle drug aspect quite a bit. And I think it's season 4 we see that with the Jaffa.
Yeah. He also, at the end, he just kind of walks off into the forest and it's like, bye. Like, why don't you go with them? You don't have a ship anymore. You can at least go from Earth to another planet. But again, then they'd have to explain that.
I was good. Just keep going.
Yeah.
You don't want to see him again.
We're good. Bye.
Yeah, it's like, well, this is awkward. I'm just going to go over here now. You still there? Okay, well, see you later. But
yeah, I guess there's just lack of chemistry. I didn't feel like there was really any chemistry, even with the Tok'ra. Like it just all kind of.
Yeah, that
well,
was.
They didn't even have the Tok'ra symbiote speak. It was always the host.
That's true.
Yeah.
So how did they know it was actually a Tok'ra?
And Sam knew. I mean, they shortcut that way, and yeah, I mean that guy he didn't really have a part. He was just a MacGuffin.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Holden does a lot of voice work, but has been in quite a few. He was in Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda though, as Brother Thaddeus. But yeah, definitely it brings like a more like classically trained actor type role to this, which you kind of needed with both Jack and Sam Jones chewing up the scenery. Although he kind of at the end when he gets stunned by Eris Bach, he kind of does the whole like arms up in the air, like like 1950s B movie hit with a death ray like type pose.
Like
kind of
you mean
undercut.
Daleks, the victims of Daleks?
Yeah,
where they do
much.
the trans screen, the screen flips, inverse, and then they
yeah. Then, yeah, that part was a little. I was like, oh, you just just undid your whole performance up to that point. But oh well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you get hit by the transphase eradication rod. Oh wait, it's absolutely not the same plot or same prop they used for the Ritu episode. Of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, all his outfit and his weird visor thing, it just looked like they went into the prop closet and just pulled out a bunch of random stuff and was like, here, put this on. And it looked like he had like a golf visor, but it didn't really fit. And
yeah, he did look kind of like it was put together like Crow T Robot was or something.
Yeah.
Just like, here's a lacrosse like racket and here's a bowling pin.
Just a mishmash, yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that jacket fit was not flattering on him. I will say that. But
I mean, he's only as God made him, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's more of a failure of the props. I feel.
Yeah,
like,
robes. Robes would have looked cool. Like some big like robes, like a cape.
Yeah, but he felt kind of like you were saying with Bruce Campbell. He does feel a little bit like that kind of character.
Yeah.
But almost like they were trying to do like a I guess also like Flash Gordon, but like a throwback kind of sci-fi character.
Like an Errol Flynn meets like you have to wonder, like if Harrison Ford had ever played a character like that, in his career. We can only imagine what it would if Harrison Ford had played like a wisecracking, heart of gold, but kind of a bad boy type character. I could see.
And to find out if he ever did, you can listen to Secrets of Star Wars. Oh,
yeah.
Apparently, this is the first episode where you do not see any Stargate at all in the entire run.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
But I think it's also the first episode where we see the Gould cargo ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
We see
which
a
becomes
lot
a
later.
yeah.
Again,
like that.
Tim
Which
has
looks
never
cool.
seen one before.
Yeah. I like their the speak and spell self-destruct system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I did like. Yeah, we hear a lot more of that, of course, as the show progresses.
And I did like Daniel. Jack trying to get Daniel to remember the word.
Mhm.
To, get the ship back. I think did he even say Beetlejuice at one point?
Yeah, Barca.
Yeah, there was Beetlejuice. Yep.
Barca Lounger, Beetlejuice. Yeah. And what I like about
You're the
that
linguist.
what I like about that is apparently they like built part of the set actually out in, whatever gravel pit or whatever they were in that week, because like the transition from inside to the interior of the ship, it looks like they actually like had the set outside. I don't know if that was the case, but it was pretty cool looking when they walk into the ship and it's like they're outside and then they're inside.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I like the design of the ship. It's fun to see something that isn't just gray walls and like stainless steel and stuff. That's something that Stargate has done well so far, is having interesting spaceship designs.
Mm-hmm. And lots of gold.
Yeah.
At least for the gold.
Gold for the Gould.
Yes.
We also get another pronunciation of Gould with Cora. He goes Goa'uld.
Yeah, which we'll hear that again. I mean, so both I think are valid. We have Goa'uld and Goa'uld. Yeah.
And Gould.
Gold.
Like Christopher Walken. Like, watch out for that Goa'uld. He is going to kill you.
I'm sorry, the only valid pronunciation is the Hammond Gould.
Gould, yeah.
Gold.
Yeah.
That's just so we don't feel bad about mispronouncing anything. There's always somebody who screws it up.
Exactly. I feel like it just became a running joke in the show because everyone says it differently.
Probably did.
Yep.
True.
I do like how at the beginning, when he's telling them what they're worth, he tells Daniel he's just worth a day's rations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's like, "No, you're actually worth a lot more because you discovered how to use the Stargate."
He's actually the one that's the worst of the worst. They want more for him than anybody else, because he's the one that caused the whole problem in the first place.
Right.
And Daniel says, "Thank you. That doesn't make me feel any better." Michael Shanks has some really great line reads in this one, like just playing like the straight man, to either Eris or Jack. He does it so well in this episode.
We were complaining over the last few episodes that he wasn't getting a lot of airtime, so he definitely got it in this one.
Yeah. No, he does. He has more to do, which is nice. And they also did I liked how they paired the characters off differently than they have been recently.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Jack and Teal get like captured at some, like the second time they get captured, and then we don't even see, like, is it Daniel and Carter get captured? It's just that Eris walks in and like throws them into the cargo hold.
Exactly. It's like, we got captured.
Yeah, it was like, what's it gonna happen? By that point, they don't even bother to say how.
Well, now we know this planet is 20 light years away, because they said it can fly at twice the speed of light and still take 10 years. So we know how far this planet is from Earth, at least.
Yeah, relatively close.
I did like Jack's face when Carter told him how long it would take. I was like, oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oops.
Although
planet that's closer, yeah.
Yeah. And I did like the scene where I mentioned Jack and Teal get captured the second time, and they're like, is it Jack and Sam get captured the second time, and they're on like the ridge, and all of a sudden the cargo ship like rises up like behind the ridge, like the helicopter in Rambo or the Klingon and ship in Star Trek. Yeah, Bird of Prey in Star Trek 5. Yeah, I always like it when they do that.
Well, not just he's sitting in there and he's doing the tick 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 tick, the finger,
Yeah, I guess, at this point, he's most well known for Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't know if usually anything at this point where, like, is it star power that they were looking for that, or is just he's a good character actor?
Thunder in Paradise, Baywatch, Walker, Texas Ranger, Silk Stockings.
Yeah, he's been a lot of the BTV series, you know, which is why he ended up in Stargate. Oh, I mean,
yeah.
He was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Just heads up, he's not been in any Hallmark shows. So.
Oh well. What's the use of? No, I'm kidding.
But he was in 10 with Bo Derek. That was his first role.
Ah. People noticed there was somebody in that movie other than Bo Derek.
I thought it was just her.
I was surprised to learn that who was in that. Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore was in that.
Yeah, I guess he's the star of it. I've never actually seen it, but Julie Andrews. Wow.
I don't know what movie y'all are talking about. So
that was
before
Bo Derek being like, yeah.
Being Bo Derek.
We don't want to. We have to say
we
have to say family friendly.
Yeah.
I must confess, I don't know who Bo Derek is. So.
I love it.
That's showing age. But anyways, but Sam Jones was in the movie Ted, you know, the talking teddy bear, as himself.
I didn't see that.
Oh, nice.
As himself. So so he literally played himself in a movie. That shows what level he's at.
Am I the only one that's not seen Flash Gordon? Is this something I need to go see?
Okay, well, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, let's stop the podcast now. We'll watch the movie and then come back afterwards.
Well, let's put this.
Like this better if I'd seen Flash Gordon.
So let's put it this way, Lisa. Okay, it's him, it's Timothy Dalton, and it's Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed.
Flash Gordon's alive.
Dive, my Hawkman, dive.
Yeah, it's 1980 cheese, and it's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mentioned to my husband, I was like, oh, so this is the Flash Gordon guy. And he was like, oh, yeah, I remember that movie. Like, he didn't say if it was good or not. He just didn't remember.
It's very good.
It's Top one of those 10 movies that for me is a guilty pleasure. It really is. It's just, I watch it every once in a while just because it's cheesy, great 1980 sci-fi.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where you like wonder, I mean, like they actually made this and then you're so glad that they actually made it because the world would be a much poorer place without something like Flash Gordon, the movie, in it. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, I like good movies, but my favorite movies are like terrible B movies. They're just so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite 1980 movie was Xanadu.
Oh,
this is about
at least the Flash Gordon movie had better music because it was Queen.
Oh well, okay. Yeah,
if you like Olivia Newton-John, that's fine too.
But ELO was pretty good too, and Olivia Newton-John.
I like Olivia Newton-John, but I'm more of a Queen fan. So
that is the fun part about the 1980s Dune movies that you have Toto doing the soundtrack.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So it's fun. I like how this has turned into secrets of 1980s science fiction B movies.
Yeah.
I guess there's a little more to talk about there than quipping Sam Jones.
Yeah.
It's not unusual to catch a tokra in a cave. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Sorry.
Amazing. That just made my night.
And then I did it. Yeah, this episode is, not going to add much to the lore, although it does add the cargo ships. It opens up, like Robert C. Cooper, his episodes do like open up the world a little bit more. It's like, oh, there's this race of people out there who the Goa'uld can't, take as hosts. And of course they've been hunted to extinction just about because they're useless to the Goa'uld. And we do see that come back in, like, as I mentioned, in Atlantis later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like, or I thought it was interesting, like they carry the plot all the way up to like you have 2 minutes left. And then that's when he has his change of heart and detonates the ship and he and Teal'c get in the escape pods and leave. But I almost thought that they were going to like carry it out and have Teal'c actually be captured by Sokar and have them have to go get him.
Mm-hmm.
That actually would have been a more interesting plot line if they did.
Exactly.
If like the next episode was them getting Teal'c back, but oh no. No, can't do that.
Well, and was this our first mention of Sokar?
No,
No.
Sokar's didn't he? Wasn't he the one that attacked the Iris?
Yes.
He tried to get Apophis when Apophis was
that's right.
Okay.
was freaking out or whatever.
Yeah, Sokar's been kind of popping up every once in a while. We haven't seen Sokar yet, but we keep hearing about him.
Well, the next episode is a Sokar planet, and then we meet Sokar this season. So it just seems like all of a sudden we've got a lot of him. So I couldn't remember if this was our first one or not.
Yeah, no, we saw him as the Wizard of Oz kind of face when he heats up the Iris in that one episode. So that was cool. I always like the innovative attacks they do on the Iris. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Yeah. We 2 or 3 more episodes we meet Sokar.
Okay.
So
Cool.
it is this season.
I have to admit, when they introduced that the Tok'ra, name was Korra. Of course, all I could think of was Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Earth, wind, fire.
Yeah.
These are the elements. Yep.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Those are the elements.
Band.
Yeah. they are.
You missed one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Water. Rain.
Yep. Do you all have any other thoughts on this episode?
I just like watch
Nothing
it.
here.
It's fun. Like you'll smile at some point during it. You know. Oh, and yeah, Sam Jones was in Return to Zork too, which was one of the very first. It wasn't one of the first like full motion video games, but it was like one of the first full motion video games to have like name actors in it. Like the brother on the Wonder Years was in it, and that was like a big like but yeah, so like if you want to like laugh again, like just go to YouTube and plug in like Return to Zork or and some of the performances in it will just like make you cry.
It was that before Mark Hamill was in the Wing Commander series?
I think it might have been, it was right around that
about
time.
that same time though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
My favorite one is Tim Curry in the Command and Conquers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's good in that though. I like those.
To the moon. Yeah. Yeah.
One place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space.
Yeah. That was at space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Curry's awesome. Like
he is. He's always fun to see.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was an episode of Stargate.
Yeah.
We might actually hit 30 minutes with this episode. We might just get there.
Not yet.
We're trying to, yeah.
I did read one other thing on the internet. People were saying this is SG-1 meets Boba Fett, which sounds pretty weak.
But Boba Fett's cool. This guy's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boba Fett's not funny.
This is.
Yeah.
I mean,
he meets a Scooby-Doo villain.
Yeah, he did have the little stick sticking up out of his back thing, like Boba Fett did in the movie, like the little antenna thing, whatever that was.
Oh, the action figure launcher thing.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, this was what, 99?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was just a poor man's. What are the aliens from Deep Space Nine?
Oh, wait a minute. Eris Bach, and then what was Boba Fett's rival bounty hunter? Bosk. The snake one, Bosk. Yeah, Bosk was one of the bounty hunters, right? Who was there in Empire Strikes Back, wasn't it?
Stretch.
That's what I remember, Mass.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So on that note.
We've got merch. You should definitely check that out.
Oh yeah.
SQPN.com/merch and get t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. We don't have any of Eris Bach, but I feel like that's a character we should feature now.
We should sell Bach packs.
Oh.
It's been one of those episodes.
It has, yes. We'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including John R., Margaret G., Lenora G., Don C., and Andrew W. Their generous donations at sqpn.com make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows in StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give, and be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. To find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. And you can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, Demons. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thank you, Jack. I think after this episode.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Ooh, tickles. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you for that, Victor. Once again, I'm Jack Berzini. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?